Hello again, it's María Tomás-Keegan, and welcome back to part 2 of my conversation with Michelle Buonincontri, whose journey through her own divorce led her to her life's work as a financial advisor, with a specialty in divorce. We're going to continue to chat about what it meant for her to choose responsibility and how that changed everything for her and for her children. These interviews are one way I offer resources for my clients and followers because I'm passionate about helping women to move beyond coping and surviving those major life events like divorce that happen to us all the time. And I want us to learn to thrive. So thanks for coming back, Michelle.
Thank you, Maria.
So please tell us about the lessons you learned and what it is about responsibility that played such a big role for you.
Oh, yes. So I did share earlier that I had read this story about Viktor Frankl. It's a Holocaust survivor. And what I really got from his story was that we all get to choose. And what that told me was, where was I not choosing? And so I really thought about my divorce. I said, what's the end game going to look like? What am I playing for? And so I kind of created a divorce vision, if you will, for what I wanted my process to look like in my life afterwards. I wanted my children to feel loved and honored and supported. And I wanted to have open communication with my spouse. And I shared that with them, and I shared it with him. And then I also came to realize there's this way our world is set up. It's like we say things like, when I have a house, when I have a job, when I have a promotion, I'm going to give to charity, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to be happy and content. And so I feel like it sets us up to fail. And I think how it really works, and this is what I got from what Victor said, was that we get to choose how we feel. We get to choose our attitude. So I think it's really the opposite. So if I look at what I want to have, which is, this loving, supported relationship that honors my children, then what do I need to do? And then I kind of reverse engineered it into, well, then who do I really need to be? And if I wanted that, then I needed to choose to be vulnerable, trusting, and honest, and really be out there and connected. And so when I chose that, I then would say, well, what actions would somebody take that's in alignment with that? And there were many things that happened in my divorce that I never would have imagined. They were super hurtful, trying to have me removed from the home, claiming I was an unfit mother. But I didn't have to respond in kind. I could find my power in being loving and truthful and vulnerable. And my children saw that, and I modeled that for them. And when I did that, I also then said, well, where was I responsible in the marriage? Where did I have a part there? Because instead of just blaming, it's his fault, he drank, nothing I did was good enough, I allowed myself to be unhappy for 15 years, and I didn't want to live like that anymore. And so I saw that even though I never blamed my husband for his drinking and talk about it to my children, that they must have known I was unhappy. They must have sensed that, and that set them up to have to choose. And what a horrible place to be as a child. When I saw my responsibility, it shifted the whole situation for me. I shared that with my children. I shared it with my ex-husband. When I first moved here with my daughter to Arizona, my son wouldn't speak to me for 18 months because he believed I had chosen my daughter over him. But when I shared that story with both of them, it shifted everything. He thanked me for acknowledging what it was like to live in that house, and then within a year, not even, he wanted to come live with me. And he did eventually. But I realized that when I shift my perspective, the whole world shifts. It doesn't mean that anybody else is doing anything differently at all. And I realized also that my divorce was my greatest gift to me. I mean, really, I'm grateful for it. It was a time that caused me to meditate, to journal, to really be grateful for what I had, and to realize I have power and choice, and I can make a choice on anything at any time. I don't have to react. Now, believe me, I'm not perfect. It's not like I've mastered this in every moment by any means, Maria, but a huge shift in insight. And also it was a gift for my kids, for them to see that and that they could do that in their own life as well.
That is so inspiring, Michelle. Thank you for sharing that. You touched on some of my favorite subjects that I work with my clients all the time. Knowing who you are, really digging deep, getting to know who you are, and aligning with what you value most. And then having a vision that you share and watching what happens around you as you live. And I love the word you used. You modeled it to your children, and it made all the difference in the world. It set you all up on a very firm foundation. I just love what you shared. Thank you so much for those lessons and what you did when you chose to be responsible for your own actions. It's empowering. And now I can't wait to hear how all this transformed your life and led you to living your purpose by helping others, so that their divorce is not as difficult as yours was. And I love that you helped them, because I had not a great divorce myself and stayed in my marriage 5 years longer than I should have. So I am just very grateful for you to share that with us. So viewers, please stay tuned for tomorrow's segment with Michelle when she talks about what she did and what she does now to give back. I'm Maria Tomás-Keegan. Till next time.